Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, this time you've really outdone yourself with the amount of material you've sent us.
Oh,
Yeah, pages and pages, all about NVIDIA, so it's pretty obvious you want to go deeper than just those gaming graphics cards, right?
absolutely. I think it's safe to say our listener wants the full picture. And, when I look at all this material, it really is like a treasure map.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, leading us to, to discover how NVIDIA is shaping the future of computing.
Okay, so gaming is just the start. I see you've given us interviews, articles, even financial reports. It's like you're building a case for NVIDIA being at the forefront of something way bigger, something about accelerated computing, and of course, AI.
You got it. Both of those really changing the game. And luckily, our expert here is going to help us connect all the dots.
Get crystal clear.
Exactly.
So where do we even begin?
Well, we have to start with the basics. We have to start with the shift in how computers are actually being designed. For decades, CPUs were the kings. Those general purpose processors, they were the brains of the operation, pretty much doing everything.
Right.
But NVIDIA, they saw a different path.
And that path led them to GPUs, right? Graphics processing units, the things that the things that make games look so incredible. But what's the real difference? I mean, how do they actually work differently from CPUs?
It's funny. I like to think of it like this. Imagine a CPU imagine it's like a really, really skilled chef.
Okay, I'm with you.
This chef can make anything, right? But they work on one dish at a time. Now, picture a GPU as a whole team of cooks.
Okay, a team of cooks. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, each one of them specializing in, different tasks.
Yeah.
And they can all work at the same time, like side by side. So now think about how much faster you could prepare a really, really complicated meal, right?
I see. So for certain tasks, like those that need to process a ton of visual data, GPUs are the way to go. Which makes sense why they're perfect for gaming, right?
Exactly. But it goes beyond gaming. NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, he saw the potential for so much more.
Well, he literally said it, right. In one of those interviews you sent us, he said, and I quote, "We wanted to build a processor that could handle the things that CPUs were terrible at."
He did. And he knew it was coming. The kinds of problems we're trying to solve with computers, they were changing. Yeah. Traditional CPUs, they were becoming a bottleneck.
So that's where the idea of accelerated computing comes in, right?
You got it. Using GPUs not to replace CPUs, but to work alongside them, speeding up specific tasks, and overall making computers, vastly more powerful for certain types of work.
Okay, so they have the hardware, these powerful GPUs, but you need more than just a powerful engine, right? You need the whole infrastructure around it.
Right, and that is where CDA comes in. It's NVIDIA's parallel computing platform, and
so the infrastructure.
Yes, think of it like building specialized roads and tools that allow developers to actually tap into the power of those GPUs.
So it's not just about selling the faster car, right? They're building the entire highway system.
You got it. It was a really smart move.
Brilliant.
It was. And it's been a major reason why they've been so successful. CUDA allowed, this whole universe of developers to jump in and start building applications, not just for games. I mean, we're talking scientific research, healthcare, a whole range of industries.
I mean, it sounds like they really did spark a revolution in how we even think about and use computers.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I bet a lot of people have actually experienced this shift without even knowing it.
It's true. I mean, I think about how realistic video games have become, and that's NVIDIA's GPUs pushing the boundaries of what's visually possible, right?
Absolutely. But it goes so much further than gaming. For our listeners who are, more on the techie side, think of it like the jump from dial-up internet to broadband. It's a fundamental change in how we connect and interact with the digital world.
But even if you're not a tech expert, you're still feeling the impact. I mean, think about streaming video, how smooth it is now, or how fast you can edit pictures on your phone, or even just how quickly your apps work.
All of those things, they're all examples of how NVIDIA's technology is making its way into everyday life.
Working behind the scenes. It's like the secret sauce that's making everything better.
It really is. And speaking behind the scenes, let's talk about how NVIDIA is transforming data centers.
Ah, yes. Those massive server farms, right? The ones that power, everything we do online.
That's right. And they can be huge energy hogs.
That's what I was thinking.
But NVIDIA is changing that. They're using their accelerated computing technology to create data centers that are incredibly efficient, more cost-effective. Instead of, thousands and thousands of servers, they can pack all that computing power into far fewer, more powerful systems.
So it's like packing the power of a whole supercomputer into a much smaller space.
Exactly.
That's going to be a game changer for companies.
Oh, absolutely. Companies can run, really complex simulations. They can analyze these massive data sets and develop AI applications with a fraction of the energy consumption and, physical space.
So this is all kind of leading us towards AI, right?
It is. And this is where things start to get really exciting.
Yeah.
We're seeing a whole new era of AI emerging, and it's all powered by NVIDIA's accelerated computing technology.
So these incredibly efficient data centers are like the foundation for this whole AI revolution. It's like they've built the launch pad for a whole new frontier.
Yeah, I love that analogy, the launch pad. It really is. And one of the most fascinating parts of all this, it has to be generative AI.
Okay, yes, generative AI. It's something I've been hearing a lot about, but to be honest, I'm not sure I totally get it. Like, what is it and why is everyone so excited about it?
Okay, so imagine a world where computers imagine they can create things, not just follow instructions. I mean, that's really what generative AI is all about, right? Instead of programming them step by step, we're now teaching them to learn from these massive amounts of data and then generate their own outputs.
So instead of just processing information, they're actually creating.
Yeah.
That sounds like a whole different level of computing power.
It is, and it's opening up all these possibilities, things we could only dream of before. I mean, think about photorealistic images that are made just from, a few words, or composing music just from a few keywords.
So it really is like giving computers a spark of creativity.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just about making art or music. I mean, generative AI has the potential to, completely change things like drug discovery or material science.
Okay, you've officially got me intrigued. Tell me more about this generative AI and how NVIDIA is leading the charge.
Let's do it. But first, we need to take a quick break.
We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show. We've been on quite a journey with NVIDIA, haven't we? Tracing their path from making those amazing graphics cards to now being right at the heart of this whole accelerated computing revolution.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating story.
And now we're talking about something even more, I don't know, mind-blowing, I guess, generative AI. But before we go any further, there was something in one of those articles you sent me. It mentioned a company using generative AI to create personalized cancer treatments.
Right.
Was that something that really jumped out at you?
It's definitely a powerful example of how generative AI can be applied to healthcare. I mean, traditionally, developing new drugs and treatments, that was a long and incredibly expensive process.
Yeah, and slow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But generative AI, it can analyze these huge data sets, patient information, genetic data, all the existing research, and it can identify potential new therapies so much faster.
So instead of just, relying on trial and error, researchers can use AI to guide them towards better treatments. That's incredible.
It is. And it just shows how NVIDIA's technology isn't just about faster processing. It's about, enabling breakthroughs in all these different fields.
Well,
but let's step back for a second. Let's actually explain how this generative AI magic works.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Remember that analogy we talked about earlier? The team of cooks.
Of course, the team of cooks all working together. Yeah, that was a great way to explain how GPUs are different from CPUs.
Well, generative AI takes advantage of all that parallel processing power to analyze huge amounts of data and identify the patterns, and then use those patterns to actually create something new.
So it's like you're showing a chef thousands of recipes,
right,
and then you ask them to come up with something totally new based on what they've learned.
Exactly. It's not about just copying. It's about understanding the underlying principles and then using that knowledge to generate something totally original.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So the possibilities are, they're kind of endless.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, we've talked about healthcare, but think about fields like design and engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being able to just put in a few parameters, right? Like, let's say you need a new material that's super lightweight and also really durable for a new airplane wing or something.
Right.
And then the AI just generates all these different options that meet those exact criteria.
So it's like having a whole team of virtual designers all working at the same time, right? Trying to solve the same problem.
Exactly. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we're also seeing generative AI being used to create those realistic 3D environments for video games and VR. It can even compose music that evokes certain emotions or even write different kinds of creative content.
Wow. So we really are entering a world where the line between between human creativity and artificial intelligence it's becoming less and less clear, isn't it?
I think so. I think so. And I think it raises some really important questions like, what does this mean for the future of work? What does it mean for, the nature of creativity? What does it even mean to be human in a world like this?
Yeah, those are some pretty big questions. Maybe we can tackle those another time.
Definitely.
But for now, let's bring it back to NVIDIA. You said earlier that they're not just writing the AI way, they're actively shaping it. What did you mean by that?
Well, it's not just about making powerful hardware. Yeah. They understand that they need to build a whole ecosystem around their technology.
Sure.
They've invested a lot in, creating the software, the tools, the platforms that make it easier for developers to actually create AI applications. And they're working with all these researchers and companies and tons of different industries to see what's possible.
So they're not just selling a product, it's more like they're building a community.
Yeah, exactly. A community, a movement even. And it's smart. It's a smart strategy. By working with all these other people, they're ensuring that their technology is being used to solve real problems, create real value,
It's like they're planting seeds everywhere and then seeing which ones grow into something amazing.
I like that. It's true. It's true. And it highlights the long-term vision that Jensen Huang has.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about just making money right now. He's thinking about the next 10 years, the next 20 years of technological advancement.
And that's something he actually said, right? In that interview you gave us, he talked about how NVIDIA's goal is to democratize AI, to make it accessible to everyone.
Yes. Yes, he did. And that's important. For AI to really reach its full potential, it can't just be something that only, big tech companies and research labs can use. It needs to be in the hands of, creators and innovators and problem solvers everywhere.
Like giving everyone a superpower.
Right.
And that brings us to another point you mentioned earlier about how NVIDIA's technology is making its way into everyday life. And I can see that happening with things like voice assistants and personalized recommendations. But what about the less obvious ways? How is AI already impacting our lives even if we don't know it?
Well, think about something like think of the financial industry. I mean, AI algorithms can analyze tons and tons of market data, to find those trends and make investment recommendations. Or in manufacturing, where AI-powered robots are already working alongside humans, to increase efficiency and make things safer.
So it's not necessarily about replacing jobs.
Right.
It's more about working with AI to do things better, more efficiently.
Exactly. It's about augmenting what we can do. And as AI gets, more and more advanced, we're going to see these applications become even more, more sophisticated and just more integrated into how we live our lives.
It's exciting, but it's also a little bit scary, right? I mean, it makes you wonder what the world is going to look like in a few years.
It does. It really does. And I think it's safe to say that NVIDIA is going to be, right at the forefront of all this, pushing the boundaries, seeing what's possible.
Absolutely. But before we get too carried away with predicting the future, I want to come back to something you mentioned earlier, the ethical considerations of AI.
Right.
I mean, it's not enough to just focus on the amazing things that AI can do. We have to think about the risks too, right? I'm particularly interested in the idea of bias in AI algorithms. Like, how do we make sure that these systems are fair and impartial, especially when they're being used to make decisions that affect people's lives?
That's such a critical question.
Yeah.
And it's something that, researchers and developers are really wrestling with right now. You see, AI algorithms, they learn from data, right? And if that data reflects the biases that already exist in our society, then the algorithms they're going to just learn to be biased too.
So if we feed an AI system data that shows, a bias against certain groups of people,
right,
then the AI is likely to make biased decisions.
It is. And it really highlights how important it is to be careful about the data we use to train these AI systems,
Yeah.
to keep checking them, to make sure that they're not perpetuating harmful biases.
It's like raising a kid, right? You have to be careful about what they're exposed to, the values they're learning.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And it really underscores the responsibility we have when we're developing this powerful technology. We can't just, throw it out into the world without thinking about the potential consequences.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
We want to use this incredible power of AI, but we have to do it ethically and responsibly.
Exactly, exactly. And it's a conversation we need to be having at every level, from the engineers who are designing the algorithms to the policymakers who are regulating how they're used.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? From how GPUs actually work to the potential of generative AI to reshape everything.
It's been quite a journey.
I'm really struck by how NVIDIA's story is really a story of human ingenuity, this desire to keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
I agree. It's a testament to vision and collaboration and this willingness to embrace the unknown, I think.
Absolutely. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive for today.
Wow.
But this is just the beginning for you, right? I mean, the sources you gave us, they're full of even more details and insights.
And who knows what new discoveries are out there, what new breakthroughs are waiting for us in this world of accelerated computing and AI.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure. It's kind of wild, right? We started talking about, graphics cards, and now we're here discussing how AI could change entire industries, even tackle global challenges.
Yeah, it really shows how technology can, how it can surprise you, how it can evolve in ways you don't expect, and how a company like NVIDIA, they can be a part of so many different waves of innovation.
As you were saying that, it made me think of something Jensen Huang said in one of those interviews.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
I think you know the one I mean. He said something about the future not being something we enter, but something we create.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He said
Yeah.
the future is not something we enter. The future is something we create. A good one.
Yeah, it really is. It kind of sums up, I don't know, it kind of sums up what NVIDIA is all about,
For sure. They're not just sitting back and waiting for the future to happen. They're out there, building it brick by technological brick.
That's a great way to put it. And they're doing it by empowering others to innovate and create right alongside them.
Which we
Talk about right with CUD and all those partnerships.
Yeah.
But what about the financial side of all of this? You sent us some pretty dense financial reports. How does all this amazing technology translate into business success?
It's a great question. It's easy to get lost in all the cool tech stuff and kind of forget about the bottom line.
Yeah, it's got to make business sense at the end of the day, right?
It does, absolutely. And for NVIDIA, well, that bet on accelerated computing and AI, it's really paid off. I mean, their revenue, it's gone through the roof in the past few years, all driven by the huge demand for those GPUs, not just for gaming, but in data centers and increasingly in other areas like cars and healthcare.
So it's more than just hype, right? The technology is actually delivering real results.
It is, and it shows they can do both. They can come up with these cutting-edge ideas, and then they can actually bring them to market, and make them work.
So it's that balance between pushing the limits of technology and also, having that solid business sense.
Exactly. It's pretty rare, actually, and it's a big part of why they've been so successful.
So as we wrap things up here, what would you say are the big takeaways for our listener? What's the so what of everything we've talked about?
Well, I think the main thing is that we're living through this time of incredible change, really, in technology, and it's all being driven by accelerated computing and AI.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA, they're right in the middle of it all, shaping the future.
Yeah, they've shown us, I don't know, they've given us a glimpse into this world where almost anything is possible, where computers can, not just process information, but actually innovate on their own.
And it's not just about, faster gadgets or cooler video games.
Yeah.
It's about changing entire industries, solving these really complex problems.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, it's about making life better for everyone.
Yeah, it's almost hard to wrap your head around all the possibilities. It's a little daunting, but mostly it's exciting.
It is. It's a good reminder that we're all a part of this story that's unfolding, and we can be more than just watching it happen. We can be a part of shaping it.
Well said. Well, to our listener out there, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you've learned something new and that you've maybe gotten a new perspective on just how powerful technology can be.
And remember, this is just the start. There's a whole world of information out there, waiting to be explored.
And who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one making those breakthroughs, the one changing the world.
Until then, keep diving deep, stay curious, and never stop. Never stop exploring.
That's it for the deep dive. We'll see you
Hmm.
next time.